Welcome everybody, I'm Annabel Fisher. I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm the mama of a fur baby named Midnight and 3 lovely chickens. And if you don't know me, then in August of 2015, I was diagnosed out of the blue, completely unprepared, with stage 4 ovarian cancer. And it was so widespread, it spread into 10 of my organs. And it was very unlikely that I was going to live. That said, I underwent very intensive chemo, and also I had an 11-hour surgery out of the province that I live in. I traveled to a different province, Alberta. And actually a few months later, in 2016, I was declared cancer-free. So what happened at that time and why I'm here now is because I didn't keep it a secret. I actually shared my journey on Facebook. And what evolved was the most powerful and empowering and beautiful and humbling love and support. So much of a response to what I wrote. And I have no doubt that it was the love that I received from my Facebook community that really allowed me to move through and heal as far as I could at that point. And I guess a lot's happened since then. Sadly, it transpired I wasn't cancer-free. The disease was known as recurrent, and it actually recurred in June of 2017. So then I had another 6 months of chemo, and at that point I described to my friends that I felt like a blob. I'd lost connection with source, my spirit. I wasn't grounded. I literally sort of blobbed about for 6 months. And I realized that wasn't a quality of life. It wasn't a space that I wanted to be in. So in January of this year, 2018, it went very well. I had a bunch of complementary therapies in addition to the chemo, including hydrotherapy, mistletoe therapy, IVs, and I was declared NED, which is no evidence of disease. And it was miraculous, and my oncologist was quite surprised. I made the commitment that if the cancer recurred, I would not pursue chemo because it wasn't worth living in that way. So in May of this year, my husband and I decided that we were going to go to the UK in June to fulfill bucket list number 1 item, which was returning to a trip down memory lane and to visit the little village where I grew up and I lived in until I emigrated to Canada when I was 26. I went with friends to my high school, to my college where I went before university. I went to my university. I went to where Michael, my husband, and I were married at Dunblane Cathedral in Scotland. And it was miraculous and wonderful. Everything I could have imagined and more. And just before we went on our trip, we learned that the cancer had recurred again. So why I'm here today is I wrote a post, gosh, it seems months ago. I think it was only about 10 days ago, and I talked about grabbing life with both hands. Because when I was in the UK, it became really clear to me that although all the treatments that I'd had given me extra life, what had been happening over the last 3 years was that I had been trying not to die. And I appreciate that that was unconscious, but rather than embracing the life I did have left, I was trying not to die. So when I was away, I was able to very clearly and objectively decide that as well as not having any chemo, I was no longer going to have any treatments whatsoever. So I was going to continue my healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, supplements, all of that is the same, but no more treatments. And I wrote a post about that on Facebook, and once again the community rallied, and you've been absolutely amazing. So after I wrote that post, just the next day, we found out that although it was a wonderful concept to embrace life and to grab it with both hands, the time that I had left was shorter than I had anticipated. I had previously discussed with my oncologist timeframes, and she is incredibly respectful and discreet, and only at my insistence we discussed it openly about how much time I had. And I was expecting until about January of 2019. But what we learned last week is that I have less than 2 months. So around about the end of September, I guess, early October. So why I'm here this evening on Facebook is 2 reasons. There isn't much time, and I've decided that if you're interested, I'd quite like to chronicle the things that Michael, my beloved, and I and my friends and my family are up to over the course of the next few weeks. And I'd like to share that with you. I'd like to demonstrate what grabbing life with both hands means, and making your one life count every day. As crazy as this seems, people have said to me, "You look great. What's going on? You don't look ill." Ovarian cancer is extremely aggressive. So from day to day, I can feel worse and worse. So Michael and I are making our one lives count, and we are grabbing life with both hands. And tomorrow early morning, we fly to Nepal for 2 weeks. And the reason that we're doing that is because that's number 2 on my bucket list, and it's where I met that beautiful man 25 years ago. So we're coming full circle. And I wondered if you'd care to join me. I'd like to post some videos on our time in Nepal and what I'm learning and experiencing. So I guess that's it for now, and thank you for all your amazing support over the last 3 years. I know you've been here for me. Even when I was quiet on Facebook, you were still here. You were still sending me messages and asking how I was. Well, I'm back, and I'd like to share as much as I can for what I have left of my life. And thank you. I'm just filled with gratitude that this is how I live my life now, making my one life count in gratitude. If you feel that this video would help anybody, please feel free to share it. I'll be putting it on my YouTube channel, and I want it to be there with all my other videos as my legacy for people to go to and watch. So for now, big love to you all. Bye.